Putting out 5 projects in 1 year is no easy task, but my guest today made it look like it was nothing. Joining me this week on the Bar for Bar podcast is San Francisco's TroyLLF.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on?
Appreciate that. A lot of work in this year.
Of course. Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me.
I know you just dropped Free Play 4. This was a whole different sort of release for you, for sure.
Absolutely, man. Just we bring something different, bringing a different vibe, man. I mean, it's been decent so far. Something different for sure.
That's what's up. But before we get straight into your projects this year and the music, let's take a step back and talk about some of your influences in terms of music and in terms of like your career in general as a person.
Right. I think just influence. Man, growing up, I played basketball and everything, so I was huge on like sports and stuff like that. So a lot of my influences were like Allen Iverson, Michael Jordan, even Kobe Bryant to an extent. As I got older and stuff, just their will to win, the work they put in and stuff, just to be where they were. And then once I started getting the music and everything, was like my father, he used to be around and stuff like that. So I used to hear a lot of music when I was young, growing up, from the NWAs to listening to the R&Bs, and that's why sometimes you listen to my music, it's got a real R&B mesh to it and stuff like that, because I was heavy on R&B growing up and stuff like that. So as I got older, kind of listening to like the Mace, the Fabulous, the Jay-Z's and everything with the smooth talk and stuff like that. That kind of just influenced a lot of my music and everything growing up. So
that's what's up. Do you feel like growing up in San Francisco had an impact on the music at all?
Absolutely. I think, in San Francisco is different, in the Bay Area and stuff. Like the Bay as a whole has its own style and everything. But I think San Francisco, we got our own style when it comes to a lot of stuff. We kind of stand out because, if you really think about it, we're kind of like on this side of the bridge, and then everywhere else, like Richmond, Oakland, the Berkeleys, they're all on that side of the bridge together, Vallejo. In San Francisco, we kind of stand alone a lot. So I think we kind of like, have a lot of cultural influence within ourselves from the music scene to just, the tourism, just this side of the bridge is different, being around the San Queens, the Big Riches, Messy Marvs and stuff like that. The lingo is different, the attitude is different for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Cause I had, cause I grew up in the East Bay, but, I spent a lot of time in San Francisco, cause I just had like a business out there for a minute. So I was there for almost 7 years. So I definitely had I had noticed that. It's definitely a different feel for sure.
Right.
Now getting into, last year now, what made you set out to put out 5 projects?
It was something I wanted to, I just wanted to push myself. I was like, I've been putting out music and stuff like that. I've been doing music since about 2008. And I just kind of was like, man, what can I do that's different, that's going to kind of get people's attention, besides making good music? Because, out here nowadays, it's like so many people put out so much music, so many songs, so much, content and everything. It's like, okay, you got to kind of keep up. But at the same time, when you're keeping up, it's like, you got to make sure you're making quality. And I'm big on quality over quantity. But at the same time, it's like, man, if I can give y'all quantity, but still make it quality, how can I do that? So I think at the top of the year, honestly, to keep it real, it was like, it kind of almost happened by accident, I'll say. But it was something that mentally I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. But last year, I think I was supposed to drop Poster Boy Short 2 for Thanksgiving. I had a problem with the artwork and everything. And it actually just pushed me a little longer. So it was late. I missed my release date. And I ended up like, man, okay, I'm going to try and drop it for Christmas. And then something just was like, man, nah, let's just hold on to it. So when I held on to it, we dropped it in January. And then when I dropped it in January, I had the idea of dropping music, in February. Me and my artist that I'm working with, Yasi, me and him were working on a project together. We were just, collaborating on a lot of songs. And we was like, man, let's put out some more music, especially Valentine's Day is coming. And really, it just was like, man, you know what? I got an idea to put out all this music this year. Like, what is my timeline going to look like? So what I started doing is I just started putting pieces together, putting projects together. I got to like February and music was out, and I was like, man, I gotta drop 5 because I already dropped 2. So
Right.
dropping 3, dropping 3 in the next 10 months, that shouldn't be a problem. And then boom, the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
You feel me? And then when the pandemic happened, it closed a lot of studios. It closed a lot of things. I literally had a video shoot lined up that week that we were, yeah, man, we got hit with the shelter in place, and was like the place that we were supposed to be shooting at closed. They were like, oh, nah, I can't let you guys come in here. We can't do it. And it was like, damn. So it made us recalibrate a little bit. We had to sit there and be like, okay, so what are we going to do? We can't drop these visuals that we're shooting. So we got to figure it out. Because, at the beginning of the pandemic, nobody knew how long it was going to last. Mm-hmm. We didn't know how serious it was. We had shows planned that we had to cancel. And it was like, man, okay, well, our studio still is open because, it's deemed essential.
Okay.
So it was like, man, let's get in our essential bag and let's make sure we get this music recorded. You feel me? So that's how Tell Death Do Us Part 2 ended up coming apart, because I had a music and everything lined up for it. And I was just like, man, you know what? Here, let's just turn this into that project. You feel me? And let's just push. And then with Music 2 and the Free Play 4, as the year went on, it was like, man, we right here. We got to make sure we knock these out and let's do it. You know what I mean? So we made sure we made that. Then a couple years ago, I think Mozzie, I seen Mozzie do it back in like 2015. Mm-hmm. He just was putting out music, a lot of he had, I'm not sure exactly what all the projects were, but I know it was around that time. Blada was like his big, like, that was his thing. That's what took him off and stuff. And I seen that and I witnessed it. And it was like, man, I've been listening to a lot of Mozzie this year. I look back and I'm like, damn, he dropped 5 albums this year. He was killing it. Then I seen, the artist NBA Youngboy. Mm-hmm. He started doing it. He was dropping a video a week, mixtape here, mixtape there. And I was like, man, okay, they grinding, but they just putting out a lot of music, and it's a lot of good music. So what I did, I was like, man, if I want to be, mentioned with the elites and stuff like that, I got to start making, turning my work ethic up a little bit and, and make it happen. So here we are.
That's what's up. I mean, like, it definitely shows that you're putting in that effort too, because the quality is there for sure. Like, there's definitely artists out there who will put out tons of music and there's nothing to really show for it, or it's not up to what most people would expect from them. But based on what I've been hearing, it definitely shows that you've been putting in that work for it.
Right.
I haven't gotten a full chance to go back and listen to all the other projects you put out this year, but from what I've heard, it's dope.
No, it's dope, man. And whenever you get a chance, it's some good music. This is one thing that I kind of tell people sometimes. I was like, if you what you do is sometimes, this is just, all personal, because for me, I listen to music sometimes. I go listen to my own music and I'll listen to them in order. So I go listen to, this year it was supposed to be Troy 2. Start with that, 5 songs, Then music, 6 songs. Then I'm listening to Tell Death Do Us Part, 10 songs. Music 2. It's like what it is basically you can hear the progression on the record and everything. So I tell people, man, if you want to listen to it like that. Take you some time. It's good music. I don't feel like you're gonna be in there skipping stuff and be like, I don't want to listen to it. So I think whenever you get some time, man, take a listen to it that way.
Oh yeah. No, for sure do it that way. That's actually what I try to do for the most part whenever I start getting into different artists. Like I go like, all right, let's start at the beginning and see where they're at now.
Absolutely.
It was just unfortunate timing because like when I was about to start listening to it, the news that Doom passed away came up, and I've just been on that binge. So
Right. Yeah, rest in peace. And Doom, man, that was crazy. A lot of people dying and stuff, man. That's just, it happens. Only thing promised is death. So it's not really too surprising. Sometimes it's just surprising when it just keeps on happening as a pattern, and you'll be so young. It's like, damn, does anybody make it to old age anymore?
Right. It feels like it for sure.
Right.
With the other projects that you dropped this year, though, how would we do like a quick rundown or like a synopsis on like what the ideas behind them were? So like with Poster Boy Troy 2, obviously that was a follow up to the original, but what else did you have in mind going into it?
Well, what I had in mind going into it was just like, me and my cousin, he's my manager as well, Skino and stuff. So what me and him just do, we sit in the studio a lot, we work. But then, like I said, I met my cousins. We family. We sit there and we talk a lot every day about music and stuff. And, I kind of just like, I ask people like, what do they want to hear from me, So a lot of people sometimes it's like, okay, cool. I got the records for the ladies. and stuff, which is great, you know. But the fellas like, man, come on, man, you got to give us some more rap. You know, you got to be rapping. We want to hear you do this. We want them to know you can rap. It's cool,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I think, you know, with the poster boy image and everything, it's kind of like, okay, cool. We kind of took on a persona of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
poster boy Troy. Poster boy Troy, you know, is the, you know, he's the guy that can rap. He's the poster boy for what hip hop is. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So where it's like it's the evolution, it's the bars, it's the, you know, the boom bap, but then we also put some flair on it because we still had, you know, songs like So Much Pressure, which was a great, you know, intro track for me. And then on there I had one of my young artists that I was working with at the time, you know, Kalia, and I put her on there. So what it did is allow me to be able to play, you know, the, you know, kind of the Jay Z when Jay Z was doing, you know, Life and Times and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, where it was like, okay, cool, this is Jay Z, this is the lyricist, but he also has other people that he's putting in position, you know. But I think just overall with that, it's just more just rap. It's not really too many like club songs or anything like that, but it's a real hip hop feel where people can ride and people can, you know, look at me and look at, okay, the Poster Boy series, he's gonna come on here and rap for us for real.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up. And okay, cool. So like that's just your like the series that you're gonna go in and just rap your ass off, basically.
Right, right. I mean, you know, still gonna make great songs and everything
Right.
like that, but it's like, you know, it's not gonna be, you know, and then if we can, I can like switch to the Muse music. So this is
Mm-hmm.
why you know, I dedicated the Muse music to, you know, specifically the R&B mesh tracks, you
Right.
know, hip hop R&B, because it was like, okay, this is Muse music. This is the art for the ladies. The ladies are the Muse. You feel me? So it's the music for it. Basically, you know, it's the music for the art, for the work of
Right.
art. You know, that we want to call our women and everything. So whatever, however you want to look at it, it's like, okay, cool. It's got some that's gonna be up tempo dance records, but then we got some also, you know, some smooth stuff that we can lay back to, kick to, and you can put it on there with an R&B record and everything, and it's seamless, like straight to the point,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or something like that. So, you know, I think just being able to have a balance, you know, a healthy balance, and then me really just finding a way to, you know, to give everybody something without, you know, oversaturating with one. Like I don't want to try and do something and put together a project and have it'd be just a big gumbo pot, which is like sometimes it's good, but everybody don't like gumbo, you
Right.
know. So
Right.
I try and make sure I have something for my audience where I can always feed them.
For sure. Yeah, it definitely sounds like I mean you have an audience who likes different styles of your own music. So having different projects to kind of like for those people, like
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense because I have definitely had listened to a lot of projects this year and like before where it's just like 30 songs and I'm like, all right, well, I like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
section right here. But like but I understand why they do it, but it's also like it's kind of a turn off sometimes too.
right, right. And I think just to add to that is like, but that's also why, like, if you look back at some of the songs, like in my catalog, once I kind of figured out the, you know, the short versions of the music and stuff like that, like I might listen to songs and I'm like, man, I only like me and my brother was talking about Drake's Scorpion album the other
Mm-hmm.
day, and he was like, man, I don't know, I don't really like it. And I was like, what do you mean? That album was dope. And he was like, nah, man. He you know, he kind of said songs that he liked, but then he was like, I don't know, that whole second half, it was like I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really like these songs. And I was like, damn. So we looked at the playlist, I mean, at the track list, and we compiled it to like maybe like 12 songs. I was like, man, if he would have did this, he was like, nah, it would have been a classic. If he would have just did that. And it's like sometimes, you know, less is more. You feel me? Sometimes you don't have to go out there and throw, you know, 30 songs. Like, man, here go five. You can like
Right.
these five. If you like them, cool. If you don't, all right, cool. Give me a sec. Boom, I got another five for you. How about these?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, even if you look at poster boards for it too in Muse music, it's like they're the complete like polar opposites. Like this song has, you know, a lot of, you know, rapping, deep cuts and stuff like that, and then Muse music has all just smooth records all the way through. You know, so it's like if you didn't like this, cool, maybe this is for you, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you also mentioned that those two albums were a little bit shorter, right?
Hmm.
Like 5 and 6 tracks.
Yeah, yeah.
That I
EP
feel
style.
definitely helps out too, because this is something I was talking to Champ with last week, and he was saying like, "Yo, like I keep it short because people got a short attention span."
Hmm.
Like, and you were talking about it too with the music. Like people be listening, like people's listening habits are completely different. Like having a shorter album or project definitely is easier for people to get into because, like, well, now people don't really be driving to work, but when they do, it's usually a fairly
Right,
quick
right.
drive. So having something that they can listen to front to back in that drive is definitely helpful. But also, like nowadays, since everyone's home, having a project that's like just under 30 minutes, it's perfect.
Perfect, yeah. And then I mean, sometimes I mean, I'm a person that likes to listen to music. You know, I listen to a lot of albums. If the album drops, I'm listening to it front to back because I want to see what I like. Number one, and then if it's too many songs, depending on if how much I like it, I might not get to the end of it. You know, so I'm like, okay, cool. If I keep it short, what it does is it gives people a chance to hear what they like within the first 5 songs, 6 songs, and if they don't like it, whatever, you know, they can pick what they don't like, you feel me, and they can keep it moving. But if they really like it, you know, for streaming purposes, sometimes shit is like they're gonna run it back. Yeah. If they like it, they're gonna listen to it a couple times, or they're gonna go to this song specifically, and it's gonna get, you know, it's a shorter distance from this song to that song now, so they don't have to wait if they want to listen to 3 songs. It's like, okay, well, after that third song, it's going back to the first one you like. So, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for people to be like, all right, I'll just listen to the whole thing again. It's cool.
Yeah, you know. And that's really what we want. I mean, I want people to be like, I mean, we grew up in the era of, you know, music and albums and everything. Like, first album, you know, that I bought, I think, like, was like Missy Elliott. She had that album, The Real World. Like, I bought that album when I was like in 6th grade or something. I a CD player, everything. And I was like, man, I had some money and I went in the record store and I was like, man, what do I want? And I was like, I don't even know what I want. I've never bought a CD by myself. So I went and was like, man, I'm going to buy this, Missy Elliott. I might rock with Missy. And I listened to that album every day until I got a new one. You feel me?
Yeah.
But it was like 10, 13 songs. But at that time, that's what people were doing. And I think when streaming started kicking in and people start being able to create playlists and, you know, do short versions of everything, it just kind of made it a little easier to be like, okay, well, I don't like the whole thing. I'm going to just take this song, and this song.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like, okay, cool. If that's all you gonna like, then why am I gonna give you all this at once if you're gonna, you know, pick through it anyways and keep moving? So, you know, I mean, I'm not saying it's wasting music, but at the same time, it's like it makes you work harder as an artist because it's like now you got to figure out more ways to deliver instead of just giving it all to them at once because not everybody wants it all at once.
Right. And going back to the CD thing, like back then, you didn't really. Like you just had that one CD for however long you had it until you got another one, like you were saying. So people definitely sat with music a lot longer.
Right. You know, and that's the difference nowadays. Like people don't have that opportunity to sit with the music. Yeah. You feel me? They don't have to. You know, they can if they want to, but it's like they're so used to not doing it that it's just everything is so, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, everything is just so it's easy for them now. You know?
Yeah, because it's like. I mean, obviously, people are going to want to, like, they'll go back to albums they like, but if they want to keep up with releases and keep up with what people are talking about, like, they're going to just go on to the next one. And it's not even like a weekly thing anymore. It's like a couple of days, there'll be a new album out or a new track out that people are like, oh, no, this is what we're listening to now.
Yeah. And I'll be like, man, you know, and it's times where I'll be like, I'll listen to an album and I really, really like that album. But it'll be so much new music that comes out that I just, you know, okay, I'm gonna listen to this. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna listen to that because I like to give everything a chance. If I like the artist, you feel me? I'm gonna go listen to it. If I like the album, I'm gonna listen to it. If I don't, it's like, it was cool, and I just didn't, you know. But then my library, it gets so flooded with new stuff that everything that moves. Then I go scroll down my library and be looking for, man, what else was I listening to?
Yeah,
and I forget, you know, and then I can't find it in my library, and I'm like, damn. Okay, then I got to make a playlist and anyways and move on. So, you know, I try to be a little more, you know, present with the music and everything in the times, especially when I like it.
Yeah, it definitely gets harder in that sense because, like you, I forget even what albums came out in a year. Like what I used to do was like just create a playlist of tracks that I liked throughout the year to remind me, but then that just gets messy halfway through the year.
Yeah. You know, I was doing that for a while where I was just creating playlists and I was doing it for myself, but also doing it for other people, like on Apple Music and Spotify, just sharing my playlist with people, you know, what I'm listening to. But then it just got to a point to where it was, you know, we had weeks at a time where it was music that I didn't even like. Yeah. So I just stopped for a while and it was like, okay, well, it's out there, but it's not as in your face as it used to be. You know, back in the day where you can go to Hot New Hip Hop, you can go to Dat Piff and all the new stuff is there. You feel me? And it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's in your face. Nowadays, it's so much new music just all over the place. It's like, oh, that shit overwhelming.
You can't, like, you gotta really dig nowadays to figure out what you actually like.
Exactly.
I always joke, like, every week, because, like, there's new music every week. I'm like, Yep. Well, there's hella new music, but I'm still listening to this album, like from 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like,
And it's just, but it's the only difference with that is like you've had a chance to sit with it. You have had a chance to experience it, which is
yep.
why we go back to the music, like the old music and stuff. And we're like, man, I really like this album. This album is a classic. It had time to be a classic because you had time to sit with it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's hard to call this new stuff classics or anything like that. Like people, are like, oh man, it's a classic, but you don't listen to it again.
Yeah.
Because there's so much coming out. But back then, it was like you really liked the music because you had a chance to experience it, sit with it, dissect it, digest it. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, it's kind of like it's a sampler. Okay, ooh, this is so much, and it's like, damn, I didn't really get a chance to really indulge in this because it was so much new stuff that I wanted to take, that I wanted to taste.
Yeah, exactly. And like listening to new music nowadays, like, and then referring to music that I listened to in the past, I'm like, damn, I don't really have that connection anymore because, like you're saying, like there's so much new out there. But back then, like a few years ago, I would be just living life and have like songs in my head, like this is what I associate with what happened, and like that's just
Right,
not really a thing anymore. Like at least to me, because there's not as many albums I sit with like as long for sure.
right.
And yeah, like like you're saying, like how people online just call albums classics like immediately, and I'm like, is it really a classic though? Like you're like, are you gonna go back to this in even next year and say it's like
Right.
dope?
And that's what
Like,
I'm saying. So, and just being an artist and everything, you got to think like how hard that is to, it's hard to compete nowadays, with
yeah,
music. So it's like, if you're not already there, you got a big budget to be able to stay in people's faces with advertising and everything like that. You kind of get lost in the sauce. So you got to keep on finding ways to, to build on your audience, to, get new people to listen to it. And especially right now during the pandemic, everything is online. It's hard to do shows. It's hard to be
mm-hmm.
out and about and be present and stuff. So just, we got to find different ways to be able to get in people's face.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Um, and damn, I had something, but I forgot.
It's all good.
um, but I guess we can keep moving on then.
Okay, it's all good.
For the next one you had after Muse Music was Till Death Do Us Part 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the idea behind that one?
So with that project, like I say, so I'm working on my album and everything that's coming, Made Man. So that project is coming probably fall this year.
Okay.
So what we were doing is I was just picking through songs for that and everything, just kind of recording, just, being in the moment, in the studio all the time, recording and everything. So I was putting records aside, like, okay, boom, this is kind of what I want the theme to be. This is what I want it to sound like. And then I think, like I was saying, when the pandemic happened, it was like, man, it kind of threw off our visual. We had plans of shooting visuals from, I think March until like May
Mm-hmm.
and everything. And then when the pandemic happened, it closed outside for us. So we couldn't get these venues anymore. We couldn't, really be together like we wanted to. So it was like, okay, cool. I can be in the studio and we can record, so what are we going to do? So the big thing that we just decided was, okay, cool. We're already working. We got these songs and everything. Let's go in here and knock out some more songs and stuff, and let's put out another project. And me thinking about the project, I was like, man, okay, so this is supposed to be for Made Man. What am I doing with this? And the whole look, everything that I had from Till Death Do Us Part, the original, is kind of like a continuation of where I want to go for Made Man. So I was like, okay, well, I like the sound of this. If you listen to Till Death Do Us Part, it's kind of got like the Goodfellas. It's got those, that type of feel, like those clips and everything at the beginning, like I say, because it was lining up for Made Man. So I was like, man, you know what? This can be like a prequel to Made Man. So what it is that feel, that boss feel, that, mob, that upper echelon feel to the music and stuff. So once we put it together, we was just like, man, okay, this is dope. It's a good project. Let's stamp it. So let's take Till Death Do Us Part theme and apply it to this, so when we do Made Man, we just basically bounce off of that, So it just, it came out great. It came out good. I had the song Guidance. I had what else is on there? I had my song Paid Dues with Big Rich on there. We were on our trip and everything, and we just have these conversations, these real in-depth conversations. And sometimes I just hit record on my phone just to record the conversation. So sometimes we're having informational conversations where it's like, okay, I need to come back to this and listen. And sometimes he just giving game. And I'm just like, it was one of those times where he was just talking and giving us game on, what he wanted for us. And I was like, man, what he's saying is kind of more like, I'm not gonna say boss, a lot like boss talk, but what he's saying is, being like, I mean, I work with him as well. So it's like, that's my big bro, but then I work with him, with Project Level, with the nonprofit and stuff like that. And what he was saying is more so like, yeah, I do what I do, yeah, not necessarily be our boss and just pay y'all, I do what I do to put y'all in position, because my goal is to be able to get you guys to be what you want to be and be the best at that. You feel me? If I don't get you there, it don't matter about me giving you a paycheck or not. I'm doing you a disservice, And so I was like, damn, that's real. You feel me? And you kind of take that mentality on where it's like the people you work with, you want them to be like good. I don't care about just giving you a paycheck just to do a job. It's like, nah, if we're working together, I want you to be great. If I make $1 million, I'm going to show you how to make $1 million. And if you're not learning how to make $1 million, you're not doing it, then it's something I'm doing wrong, or something that you're just not accepting. So one way or another, if I can get you there, I did my job. If I'm not learning and figuring out ways to get you there, it's not working. So I think just overall, like I was saying, just tell death do us part I was in that mentality when I created that, but also was just a little bit of forward thinking with that.
Right. And it kind of sounds like when you win and the whole team win in sort of deal, like you want to be able to put everyone on, but like not necessarily like give them like handouts, but like give them game and actually like be like, yo, this is what you need to do, like, but in a supportive way.
Absolutely. Like the first single on there was Guidance. And Guidance was a song that me and a young artist, NLS Honcho, did and stuff. And it was just a song where he was one of the young artists that I was working with at Project Level. And I liked his style. He was, he was just a little rough around the edges. And I was just like, yo, I might got a record for you. What I want you to do is, the best way for me, I was like, I could sit in the studio with you and coach you all day, but I was like, the best way for me to help you get better is to put you on records with me. You're young, so some of the stuff that you're doing is kind of like, it's raw. But if we bring it over here and we polish it a little bit, I think you could be a star. So it worked out. The Guidance, we shot a video for it. It did well. And that became one of the lead songs and stuff on the project and everything. So
that's dope. And then you brought up Project Level. You want to talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah. Project Level is a nonprofit organization in San Francisco, California, led by Big Rich and his wife, Danielle Banks. So basically, Project Level is I'm trying to put it in layman's terms. So it's an organization, basically youth-based organization and stuff. So what we do is we specialize in music, entrepreneurship, dance, fashion, what else, and film and photography as well. So it's basically like an art school almost, art/music school and everything for the youth from ages 13 to 24. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, cool. We're not exactly like the Boys and Girls Club or the YMCA or anything, but what we are is like basically a private organization where, we help get you to that next level. If we bring people in and you want to be a dancer, you come and you can train to be a dancer or anything. All the staff there, majority of the staff there was once students there. So as they get older and they turn 18, they get hired, and then they run a department that they specialize in, So like one of my little sister and stuff, she does the dance department. Well, she was doing the dance department there at one point because she came up in the dance program, and it was like, man, it's hard to go out and find, dance instructors, and it's hard also to find the budget to be able to pay these instructors and stuff, these, and outsource because we're community based. So, we get funded from the city. So it's like, cool, you know what? We get grants and everything to help take care of the kids. We can pay the kids out of these grants, and they give us money basically to pay them. And so what they do is, cool. Now she's 18. When she turned 18, she took upon that job. So all the young kids, the high schoolers and the younger kids into that, she started teaching, working out and everything like that. So that became her job. So we try and do that. We try and just keep it community based and stuff and just keep it circulating. Everything that we do, when you move up and you move on, somebody that you train moves into your spot. So it's like each one teach one, and we keep on giving back to the community. We do a lot of community things and a lot of community events with like the mayor, from food giveaways to toy giveaways during the holidays, turkey giveaways and stuff.
Nice.
So, I mean, we're just super involved in the community. I feel like I'm missing some things because, but we do so much.
Right.
We just had a whole thing with Forever 21 last year where we ended up getting into an incident with them at one of their stores downtown, and it turned into like basically like racial profiling. So we ended up, instead of suing them, we had to sit down with them, and Rich and Danielle basically worked out a thing where we got equity in the Forever 21 brand, to where they ended up giving us a clothing line. So we have a clothing line through Forever 21, and I think we're at for like 2 or 3 more seasons and stuff with them. So the first one sold out in like a week and everything. So all the proceeds come back to Project Level, to the organization and stuff. So, I mean, it's good. It also comes with like a scholarship, Project Level scholarship. So for kids that want to go to school for fashion or want to intern and stuff like that, they are able to go down to the Forever 21 headquarters and get internships and stuff through our program. It's a lot. We work, 24K Golden, them.
Right.
Golden. So yeah, he's from San Francisco and everything. So we actually helped bridge him from, his situation and got him signed.
Oh shit.
As well. So he came up through our program. He participated in our, like, we do a yearly thing, which is called the Next Big Thing, which is a yearly like talent show and stuff that we do for the city. All kids come. I think the pot was like $500 one year. It was like $1,000 the next year. And then we get like celebrity judges from, radio DJs to, industry A&Rs to celebrity like dancers, TikTokers and stuff like that. And we have them come and they judge the contest. And he ended up being in our contest. I think he might have came in second one, like the year he was there. And then he just came and he worked with us for the summer and stuff before he went off to school. But we noticed his talent and everything. So with the connections and everything that Big Rich and all of them used, they kind of took that and they brought him to a situation where he was able to sit down, and he ended up getting a record label out of it. And right now, I mean, got the hottest song in the country. So, we start at the bottom, and we get to see it. So that's a good story that we're able to see.
Yeah, that whole thing's dope. Actually, like it really just sounds like a really, really good creative space for the youth. Because honestly, I feel like a lot of times that's not really an option, or like that's not what we're told we can do.
Right.
Like having that for them, it's dope. Like showing them that, you can still do something and be creative.
No, absolutely. So, and that's what it is. I think it just gives them an outlet and stuff just to be able to do it, from the music to the dance, because everybody doesn't have it, so that's why I say it's not necessarily like the Boys and Girls Club where, it's like, come here after school, hang out, go home. It's like, nah, we work on weekends, we travel, we do a lot. So if you're not really invested in this portion of what you really want to do, it's kind of hard just to treat it like a hobby, because you can get left behind. So,
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to check y'all out.
Oh yeah. Project Level on Instagram and stuff like that. So we got some good stuff. You can be able to check out some content on there for sure.
Sure. And then stepping back again to Till Death Do Us Part, and you said the album was Made Man, or when it's coming out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the album Made Man is set to come out probably fall 2021.
Okay, for sure.
So it's in the process. We're working on that, putting the blueprint and the skeleton and stuff together.
Nice. And would you recommend that people go back and listen to Death Do Us Part 1 and 2 before listening to Made Man?
Absolutely. So Quiet as Kept, Till Death Do Us Part was actually my first solo project. So when I first started, I came from a group, Legends Live Forever and everything. So we did about 7 projects as a group, and then we just decided to go not really go our separate ways, but we decided to step out and do solo projects, solo ventures, back in like 2013. And Till Death Do Us Part was actually my first solo project. It was 17 songs. I mean, when I look back on it now, I'm like, damn, I probably could have did with like, 10 songs instead. But back then it was like I was just so juiced to work by myself, and like the challenge was, when you're in a group, it's easy to do a verse here, a hook here, verse here, hook there. But when you, working by yourself and now you're a solo artist, now I need 3 verses and a hook myself, 2 verses and a hook myself. It challenged me to work a little harder. So I think when you go back and listen, you'll hear some songs, you're like, okay, I see where he was going with this. And some of them, you like, okay, I was in there having fun. But I think if you want to go back, if anybody wants to go back and listen to that, I definitely would recommend it so you can kind of see just the mindset I was in, but also you can hear the growth.
Right.
You can hear how like much better. I mean, obviously, I feel like I got 10 times better since then, but I feel like my concepts, the music and everything was there. It was good. The creativity was good, and stuff like that. But I feel like just the whole presence of my music and everything has just gotten better every project since then.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely. I mean, there's always growth. So
Right.
that's dope. So yeah, I'll definitely be sure to check and go in that chronological order for sure with that one then.
Right. Absolutely.
Um, and then you followed up Muse Music with Muse Music 2 later on in the year.
Mm-hmm.
That one, I think, when did it come out? Like October?
It ended up coming out in November.
Okay. And was that just like just meant to be a proper follow up to the other one earlier in the year?
Basically, yeah. It was, we were working on it and stuff. We had the records, and I was just kind of figure out. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do exactly with those records at the time, and I was like, man, okay, cool. We're putting them in these places and everything. I didn't really know if I wanted them to go on Free Play 4 because I had so many, and I was like, man, you know what? Nah, I want to keep Free Play 4 kind of, almost like a Till Death Do Us Part poster board tour where I wanted to be able to rap more and just, we had a lot of songs, a lot of collaborations and everything, with the R&B artists. And we were just like, okay, you know what? Let's try and cut back on some of those features and just be more of yourself, put more you onto Free Play 4. So what we did is we kind of just compiled the songs that we had, originally for the Muse Music 2. And we were like, okay, cool, let's structure some, and let's take it down. I think we only had 5 instead of doing another 6, 7. We were just like, okay, cool, let's keep it at 5 since we're going to double back with the Free Play 4. We're going to give them another 10. So we don't want to oversaturate it and just give them a whole bunch of stuff. So we was like, okay, cool. Muse Music 2 is right on time. It's fall coming in. People are going to be with the ladies. It's the holidays coming up. They'll be able to just, vibe a little bit. So, I think that was a good move for that.
Yeah, that for sure makes a lot of sense. Keep it quick and light.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I had dropped the first single on that, Straight to the Point. And that song was it was a great song. It was something that was like, okay, cool. It's going to be the first single. And I realized I was like, man, okay, well, with Muse Music 2 coming, let's just make this the joint. Let's shoot the video. Let's put it out. Let's get people, talking about it first before we drop. We were starting to get to the end of the month. It was like, okay, it's October now. What we doing? You feel me? So, like I was saying, pandemic and all of that stuff kind of just, it was throwing us off a little bit with the shelter in place because it wasn't allowing us to be able to shoot visuals. It wasn't allowing us to be where we needed to be to make the things happen with the plans that we had. So, we were able to work around it. I hollered at a couple friends and everything that pulled some strings for us and made the videos and stuff happen. So what it did is it helped us out, getting that single off and then just putting us in position to be like, okay, cool, we're in a good position to drop now,
Oh, yeah. And then, yeah, I can imagine the pandemic just kind of really, like you said, threw a wrench in the whole thing.
Right.
Did that change any of the recording process at all? Because I mean, I know you said your studio was still open.
Right.
Did that have any effect on that part?
Not really. What it did is it kind of like they limited some of our hours and everything in our studio building, because we got a studio and stuff that we rent out and everything. So it went from being open until 3 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Oh, damn.
So yeah. So I share the studio and stuff with a couple other group mates and stuff. So when we go, it's like, okay, cool. Some days, he's working, they're working until 10 or 9. It's like, okay, cool, I got to get in there. But then also I work myself sometimes. So I have to be on Zoom calls, I got to be certain places where I don't get off, and then I got to be there at, okay, I'll go to the studio at 8, but I've only got from 8 to 10 to try and knock it out now, So it's like when you're used to sitting there for a couple hours and knocking out songs and just having that freedom, it kind of just puts a restraint on that where it's like, okay, cool, I got to be a little more, selective and diligent about knocking out this stuff,
Right.
So I mean, that's all really, but it is just, when you're trying to make it happen, you got to make it happen. It happens.
For sure. Yeah, I can imagine that definitely makes the process a little bit different. You're probably putting in a little more thought into it before you even head into the studio.
Absolutely. And just having things ready. Like, I don't have time to sit in the studio for 4 hours and, finish up. It's like, nah, man, we at home, I got this idle time, get to write the song. So we come here and we're just recording.
Right.
We're executing when we get there.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me how I think I was talking. I don't remember who I was talking to about it before now, but like back in the day, like when when you had to like pay for studio time, like this is all the time
Yeah.
you had to be like ready and just bust it out.
Yeah. It'll be times where, and I try and use that sometimes to my advantage where I'm just like, okay, well, we're paying monthly. So, allows us a little more freedom. But at the same
Mhm.
time, it's like, nah, sometimes that's too much freedom. You get relaxed, you get lazy. And it's like, nah, man, we got to keep ourselves on a schedule. So sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'm going to the studio at this time and I want to leave by this time. If I
Mhm.
come in here, I have to at least have a song written and recording every single day that I come in here. So it's kind of like pushing myself to do that at least one. I know some people are like, oh, I go in the studio, I do 4 songs, I do 8 songs. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah,
Like if
everyone's
I can come
different.
in and yeah, exactly. If I can come in and knock out one good song, per day, then I'm like, okay, cool. I'm in good shape. I feel productive today.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, like everyone has their own way of recording and getting stuff done. Like some people just go in and put out a bunch of songs. They won't all
Right.
necessarily make it to a project, but
Yeah,
they have them.
exactly.
But then, yeah, like it sounds like you're more purposeful in what you try to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, and then going into free play, the free play series, it just in general, was that meant to just be more of like rap focused again, or was it meant to be kind of a mix of a little bit of everything?
So originally, with the free play, the whole brand and everything that I started when I first did it was more so just like it was free rides, So what
Mm,
I wanted to do is at first I was coming in and I was just doing not so many songs, but I was just free writing. I was doing songs and I'm like, okay, cool. I like this. Okay, I like that. It was like really a collection of things that I had been doing, you feel me,
mm,
over the years, not over the years, excuse me, over that year when I was doing it. So it was like sometimes I might have these people like that I wouldn't necessarily work with on like an album, but I put them on a free play series because it was
mm.
like, cool, it allows me to go out and work with other people and we're not really just so focused on one thing. So I think, but also making it all the way up to, free play 4, I kind of use the energy from the Till Death Do Us Part 2, where it was like a lot of people said that they liked what I did there. They liked the combination of music, they liked the style, they liked, when I was just hearing me rap more and stuff
Mm.
like that. So I was like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm giving y'all these musics and everything. So I'm giving y'all the smooth stuff here. So I don't really have too much of that on the free play 4. So I wanted to really just concentrate more on just giving people full body songs, rapping more and just giving them an experience.
Right. So kind of like it's kind of like a compilation sort of thing, like
Yeah,
of
yeah.
just the tracks that maybe not necessarily fit on a particular album.
hmm but I think just like with this one, like with Free Play 4, I think I was a little more intentional,
Mm-hmm.
with it, where it was like, okay, cool. I break it down into like sports, like basketball and stuff,
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, cool. In the first quarter, you kind of getting the feel of it. The second quarter, you making sure, you focusing on your mistakes. You focus on like, if you go back, Free Play 2 was only about 5 songs. So that was the first time I just was like, okay, cool. It's 5 songs. Yeah, I think that's kind of me personally, one of my favorite ones too.
Mm-hmm.
So I got straight to the point with it. I just didn't go out there and pick songs and be like, okay, cool, let's put a collection of songs, let's arrange them, let's make it sound good. It was like, nah, we crafted every single song on there to make sure that we were good. So in basketball, it's like like the Warriors. The Warriors will be going out there doing anything, shooting threes, running plays. Second quarter, it comes in, they kind of focus a little more on the defense, keeping the game close. And then the third quarter, they come out and they score a bunch. Free
Mm-hmm.
play 3, I gave you a whole bunch of different styles. I was trying things. I was trying auto tune. I was trying working with live instruments more, on that when I was trying, just a lot of different things and stuff. So with Free Play 4, it was like, okay, cool. This is the fourth quarter. This is a stretch. This is when, the game matters. So with this project, I tried to be a little more intentional with what I put out with the songs, the structure, the features, the specific features. The first half, if you notice, listening to it, the first half, I really only have one song with features on it because of, just the structure of the song. But also, we wanted to have literally the first half with no features, just all me because I've been doing features all year,
Right.
you know. So in the second half, it's like, okay, cool. We can intentionally put these features here to make the music good. So I mean, just so people don't think I'm just putting songs together, it's definitely been, sketched out and just, colored in along the way.
Right. There's a process for sure.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then yeah, like yours with Free Play 4. I know you were like making that the basketball reference, or well, with the quarters.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the last one though, is it?
Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So, at a point it was like, okay, cool. I just want to do four, and it's gonna be the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm thinking about it. I might bring more to the table depending on, where we go and everything, and where we end up with the music. 'Cause I got a lot of other stuff planned and everything. So if it does come back, it'll be like, an extended version, an extended overtime version or something, where we come in and we win it. So
for sure.
but if not, it might be coming to an end, but I don't want to leave it there and be like, oh, it's the last one, because, who knows? I might next year be like, man, I need to, this for like a free play,
Right. Nothing's off the table.
Yeah, nothing's off the table, but I definitely want to keep it to where it's like, we don't drag it on too long to, free play 7, free play
Right.
13. And, we definitely not going that far with it. It'll definitely be a shift.
For sure. And yeah, I mean, obviously I did the review for this one, so I have a lot more to say about it. But
right, all good.
This I really liked it. Like it, even though like it may, like based on what we're saying, like it may feel more of just a compilation. Like it definitely does feel focused. Like there's structure to it, and it all flows just really well. But yeah, no, all I'm going to say about it is it was dope, and people need to check it out because
I appreciate that.
Other than that, I'm just going to be reiterating my review.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then, even like your review, I mean, I definitely appreciated that, and stuff, because we sent it out to people. What we wanted to do is, like, I mean, obviously, we took the different approach where we didn't put it on streaming platforms this time because, I mean, we all know as artists and everything, like a lot of the consumers don't realize that, they stream our music and stuff like that. And they're like, man, I was listening to it. It's like, that's great, but we don't really get paid super, well, unless we're Drake, unless we're these big artists that are signed to labels that's getting a lot of money behind them. So when you're independent, unless you got a huge fan base that's playing your music, hundreds of thousands of times, it's kind of like you getting the short end of the stick. So we put thousands of dollars into the music a year. And it's like, I looked at some of my balances, from my streaming, and I'm just like, damn, man, I just did all of that. You feel me? I can make more than that going to work, right. So it's really not necessarily about the money all the time. It's more so about the music. Like, I like making good music, but it sucks when, you go out there and you putting all that stuff together, and it's really just like, it feels like nobody is listening. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, people talk about it and everything. I mean, I know it's about, just working, but at the same time, it's like, when we did it, and we was like, okay, cool. What can we do that's different? I've been listening to, the Nipsey Hussles. I've been listening to the Ryan Leslie's and reading, how they did it and how they go out there and touch bases with their fan base from Ryan Leslie's app, the Superphone, which is like, okay, cool. Let's incorporate that.
Yeah.
Nipsey Hussle used it for mailbox money, so it's like, okay, cool. You know what? He used that for mailbox money and it worked for him. He was selling CDs for $1,000. You feel me? So, I mean, not like that. I don't think I'm Nipsey Hussle. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sell $1,000 CD, $100 CD. But I'm like, why not? Why not? You feel me? I put the work in, I put the effort in. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to like stop devaluing the music. We give out so much music for free just to get pennies and stuff. And it's like, what can we do? Back in the day when I was selling CDs, we were selling CDs for $10 a pop. It was a little more, it was better. People bought the CD because they appreciated the music. You feel me? They wanted to support you. So I was like, okay, cool. If people still feel like that, they want to support and they want to, support the music and everything, they'll pay for it. Right. I don't want to hit people over the head and be like, oh, give me $50 for a CD just because I feel like I can. It's like, nah, $25 is pretty decent, know. So we're charging $25 for the CD, but we also bundling it with, T-shirts, sweatshirts and stuff like that, where it's like, okay, cool. It's a little more incentive. It's not just the music. You can buy a sweatshirt, and it'll come with the CD. You can buy a T-shirt and everything, and the music is attached to it. I just want to have an experience to where people come and they want to listen to music because they know it's gonna come with something else besides the music. You feel
Right.
me?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that because I mean, I know that most people would be like, why would I buy the music when I can just get it off streaming?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
And it's like, I mean, that's a convenience thing. You feel me? And
yeah,
that's great. And it's like that's cool. It'll be there eventually. But I'm
right,
like, until then, it's like, if you care that much and you really want to listen to it, I mean, I'm pretty sure you won't mind paying for it.
right.
Because if you want to go to a concert and stuff like that, you're not just getting in the concert for free because you want to go see Drake. You got to pay for the concert. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? If you want to go listen to a Jay-Z album, like its own title, its own things like that, yeah. But if you want this version of Jay Z and you got to pay for it, you'll go listen to it and you'll go pay for it because you want to hear it right now.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
know?
And I think, like you were saying, that's one of the things that a lot of like the general public and consumers don't really recognize. Like, yeah, streaming is hella convenient, but
Right.
the artists get paid pennies. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
most people be making money just actually like when you buy the physical copies or buy merch, and it
Hmm.
sucks even more now because no one can tour. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah. So it's like we got to figure out a way. Like, one of my boys hit me, and he's over in Germany right
mm,
now, and he's kind of like, he was looking for the album, and he was on my band camp, he was everywhere looking. He was like, man, where the album at?
mm,
So he was buying my other stuff up. He was just like, man, I bought the music, I bought this, and I bought that. But he was like, how can I get the album? And I was like, oh, bro, you gotta da 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 da. And he was like, okay, well, where can I stream it so I can make sure you get your streams? And I was like, nah, man. And I had to break it down for him, like, forget the streams right now. You
right,
feel me? Like, literally, the streams at the end of the day are to make money, regardless on how we want to look at it.
yeah,
Like, the love of the music, it don't matter how many streams you got. If you love the music, you can have 0 streams and the music be great. You can have 100,000 streams and the music be terrible. So once we take out the streaming, it's like, how much do you want to listen to the music? You
mm,
know? So I think that's kind of what we did. And we just was like, man, if you really want to listen to it, buy it. But also, it gives you the incentive to want to go buy some merch too. So we just found different ways to balance it and just keep the fans and supporters involved. But also at the same time, you should make some money so we can keep going. It's
oh
an
yeah,
expensive game.
for sure.
Yeah, if we making our money just to be able to at least, like, as of right now, stay afloat, not stay afloat, but be able to keep doing it, where we print CDs, we're making shirts, we're doing merch and everything like that. Bundles, if we can make money to just keep putting back in that and not have to keep on coming out of our everyday money that we
Hmm.
got to use to pay rent and bills and stuff like that, it's like it moves a little easier, that way when we can pay for itself.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that's another thing that you touched on that a lot of people also forget. Like independent artists still got day jobs.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's some that get lucky and are able to quit their day job, but it's like, not all of us are that lucky yet.
Right. Like most people still got to work they 9 to 5 and still put
Hmm.
out music.
Yeah, yeah. We still got to keep the lights on. We still got to pay for that studio time.
Hmm.
We still got to eat.
Yeah. Um. Now moving on or moving past Free Play 4 with this year. I know you already mentioned that you have your album coming out later on this year, but do you have are you trying to at least meet last year's goal of 5 projects, or are you just trying to keep it focused on the album?
I'm focused on the album. I do have a couple other ventures and everything that I'm working on as well. So we got a couple projects. Oh my God, Pussy, you feel
Hmm.
me? He's on the project. Me and him got a bunch of songs and everything. So me and him are coming out with a project called Life and Time. So
Okay.
that might come sometime like spring. Me and King Tahoe, me and
Hmm.
him got a project and everything in the works that we're working on right now. But then also I'm just working, almost on my, throwing my executive hat on. I got other artists and stuff that I'm working with. Yasi, he's got a project coming out, Girls Like You.
Hmm.
We kind of gonna put a date on that. That might be coming like Valentine's Day or something. Then I got a young artist named Yane. She's on the album as well and stuff. So we're working on her project and everything, getting her back in the mix. And so, I got Free Play Music Group. Free Play Music Group is going to be something that is going to be coming out. You're kind of the first one outside of the circle to hear about that.
Oh, so that's just
So we'll,
exclusive.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, basically it's just going to be, extension of the Legends Live Forever brand, and basically just having another entity to be able to, sign artists and push artists through and everything. So we're working on a few things right now. I can't really talk about too much in depth until, it kind of starts happening, but, I don't want to, I don't want to block our blessings.
For sure. And no, that's dope because that was one thing that I was actually going to mention. Like everyone that you had featured on Free Play 4 was just dope, and they all fit really well. So it's
Right,
not
right.
like, because I mean, you every once in a while you got like albums where there's features that you're like, oh, why'd they put this dude on it? It just doesn't fit. But like everything worked.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
And I
dope to
think I'm
hear that
big.
they're all going to be part of whatever, with the, they're all going to be part of the next venture.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think with me, I'm big on that. I'm big on, doing what fits. I'm not really big on just going out and getting artists and stuff like that just to, oh, they got a name, so I want to put
Right.
them on the song. It's like I don't really care about that. You feel me? If the music ain't good, it's not good. I'd rather, work with people that sound good, we mesh good, we got good chemistry, and we put out good music and stuff like that. Because that's how, people that listen to it and they can tell. You feel me? When you just plug somebody in and threw a verse in there, aside from when you actually work with these people and y'all chemistry is good. So I'm big on that.
Yeah, and that's dope too, because like once, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, it's gonna sound like putting them on, but like you kind of are, but also it's
Yeah,
giving people exposure to other dope artists that they probably might not have heard of before.
yeah, and I'm big on that as well. Like when we were coming up, in our group with Let's Live Forever, like we used to go around and want to get. We was trying to get signed. We used to go around to everybody, giving our CDs,
Mm-hmm.
our flyers, pulling up at shows everywhere, and it was like nobody really wanted to give us that chance, for whatever reason. They just kind of like they just didn't. I mean, they didn't like us. I don't know what it was, but
Right.
like Big Rich was one of the first ones to be like, man, I like y'all hustle. I like what y'all doing. I want y'all to come mess with me. And he brought us on his record label and everything, and kind of just was giving us guidance to just let us hang, let us be a part of the team. It gave us a chance to be a part of something that was already moving, and I learned a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that's my due diligence to make sure, whatever game I got and whatever opportunities that I can help put other people in position to win. Like if you're working for it, you deserve that. And I feel like if ain't nobody gonna give it to you, I want to be the person that at least, shed some light on that if I can.
Right. Kind of like paying it forward.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes, I mean, you might not, you might listen to a song and be like, oh man, this song is cool. Who is this artist? Like, Yane,
Mm-hmm.
like she's on the album. She was on Tell Dip to a Sport on our song Can't Fuck With Us. And they was like, man, who's the chick on there? And then it was like, hey, she kind of ripped y'all. And it's all good. I'm not tripping. You feel me? That don't bother me. To me, it's like it's a good look because now that my young artist, my young protege, and everything is getting listened to by other people. So when
Yeah.
she drops her own songs, they're more willing to listen to her because they heard how she gassed us on the phone. They're like, oh no, she got talent. You feel me? She's not just another girl rapping. She's actually talented. So I just released, if I can do that, other than that, my crowd, she's young. So they don't really look at her like they want to listen to her music because it's just not in their age group. But then when they hear on some stuff with me, it's like, okay, cool. It's not about her age. It's about her music, and I
Yeah.
feel like when they fit that mold, it's like, it shouldn't be no barriers with that.
Yeah, because obviously people always like, well, not necessarily, but sometimes people will go into artists and they'll be like, oh, just based on appearances, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be into that, and just
Hmm.
kind of skip over them based off of that. But giving them the, like you're saying, like she's a little bit younger, so having her on the project definitely opens older heads ears open up
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah. And so sometimes, I mean, I don't want to expose her to too much, past her era and her age group and everything, because I think that can happen. Like when we were Big
Yeah.
Rich, it was like we were young, we was under 21 and stuff. So by the time we got to be 21, we were all the way with him all the time. When he was performing at bigger than at that time he was like the biggest artist in San Francisco, damn near the Bay Area at that time when we got there. And it was like, but what it did for us, I feel like personally, it helped. We ended up alienating our own audience to go get a new audience. You feel me?
Mm,
So it was like we went to the older crowd. Okay. We went to the older crowd and we kind of left the younger crowd. So when it was time to go back to the younger crowd, it was a little bit of a disconnect because we missed some months, we missed a year or something of growth with them. So we had to like go back and gain them back instead of them just
right.
growing with us the whole time. So I wanted to be able to be like, okay, cool. She got to experience this, but she got to take that maturity back to her age group. Now she's somebody that they look up to, even though she's a peer.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, because you can definitely alienate some people for sure.
Right, right. So,
Like especially when your audience is a little bit younger. Like if you switch up on them, like you don't want to. Like they may not stick around. But and bringing
yeah,
them back is not
absolutely.
the easiest thing for sure.
Yeah, so I think just being more mindful of that when we create and stuff is a big thing.
Yeah, because there's definitely been artists for me where I would listen to them like early on, and then I mean obviously they're back then I was like maybe 13, 15, and they were
Right.
already in their 30s, so like obviously they're gonna have different like outlooks on life and different experiences that I won't necessarily connect with until I get older. But
Yeah.
I mean,
The Jay-Z effect, man. You know, when I was young, it was like Jay-Z was cool, but I didn't really care for it. But as I got older, I got to high school and I
mm-hmm.
started hearing things like the Blueprint. You know, I started hearing things like the Black Album. And I was
Yeah,
like, okay, I kind of relate to this more. So as I got older and became an adult, I went back and listened to Reasonable Doubt. I went back and
mm-hmm.
listened to Life and Times as a whole project. And I was like, man, he was really giving us game. He was really talking about some stuff that was over our head. You know, now as an adult, I go back and listen to it, and it's like, you know, I listen to the Jay-Z's, the Nipsey Hussles, the Nas's, and I just the perspectives and everything are a lot different now that I'm older and a little more mature now to understand it, and I've experienced life.
For sure. Yeah, like it's and that's another thing that I don't know that a lot of people are doing nowadays, like going back
Mm-hmm.
to older albums and like really like listening to them like that. But
Right.
I mean, it's definitely a thing that I feel people should do to I mean, not necessarily just for to understand hip hop, but like to really understand themselves and what other options there are out
Mm-hmm.
there. Like, just get more game.
No, absolutely. I think I don't know, man. I think, you know, everybody should. You know, I think even if it's not something that you don't like necessarily. I mean, you know, like people would. Have you heard about the Young Thug situation where he had that interview and he was just like, oh, you know, Jay-Z don't got 30 songs, 30 hits. And I think people, you know, misinterpreted that. Like, if you watch the interview, he was kind of like, Jay-Z's got 30. I mean, don't got 30, but he wasn't saying specifically Jay-Z.
Yeah,
He was
he
just
just threw a
using him
name
as a
out there.
reference. Yeah, threw a name out there. And everybody was like, oh, you need to shut up. You need to do this. But it's like, nah, man, you know, if Lil Wayne was his artist that he looked up to growing up, I know kids like that are younger that looked up to Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
I mean, looked up to Bow Wow and stuff like that because they weren't exposed to that. It's okay, you know, but it's
Yeah.
okay for you to expose them and be like, nah, bro, check these out right here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, instead of just lashing out at them and be like, you're stupid, you don't know. Nah, man, you know, game them up, let them know something.
Yeah, it's like everything I saw about that was everyone just like straight up attacking him, and I'm like, people just kind of go off the headlines a lot of times.
Right.
Like everyone's like, "Oh, Thugger said Jay-Z ain't got no songs that people listen to." I'm like, no, that's not what he said.
Right.
Like you're just kind of comparing himself and what happens in shows to like other people that he's on tour with.
Right.
And
Right.
Thugger's just in that position where people happen to know all his songs. Like he could have
Mm-hmm.
also been in the same position where people know like like 3 of his songs.
Right. Yeah, that's why I
just
say, you know, you got to look at everything for face value. You don't look at everything for what it is. Oh, he, you know, digging deep, he dissing hip hop. Nah, man, he just, you know, I mean, Jay-Z, you know, it kind of just was like that. Like, it's okay. Like,
yeah.
it doesn't mean no harm.
Yeah. I think so. We went through all your projects. I think that's mostly all I got. Is there any other last things you want to let the listeners know?
Man, we're working hard. You know, we're working real hard out here. So, you know, working on the music. Free Play 4 is out now. You know, you definitely have to come to me to get it. You know, we're using our super phone to text and make sure we stay in touch with our fans and supporters. So if you want to be involved, 419-518-5458, text me. Let me know that you want the album. You know, let me know that you're interested in the music, and we can connect from there. Because what I want to be able to do, I just want to be able to connect with my fans and stuff, man. I want to connect with supporters and people that actually care. It's one thing to have social media. You know, I got thousands of followers on social media, but I don't have, you know, thousands of dollars that match that. You feel me?
Right.
So it's like people that support it, it's like, cool. I don't necessarily need your money, but I need to know that I've got people that support me. You know, it's going to be things that we do on there attached. I might be doing giveaways and stuff, you know. Oh, well, you know, I like the way, you know, y'all been supporting me. You know, y'all have given me X amount of dollars. You feel me? Here's a shirt. Here's a ticket to a show we got coming up, you know. But I don't want to sit on Instagram and social media and advertise all the time. You feel me? I'd rather talk to people directly. Hey, what's up? I got a small venue. You know, it only hold about 30 people. I got 20 people right now on my contact list. Can you make the show? You feel me? I want to give y'all the tickets first before I throw it online for people to just come be social. And I want people that actually have been listening to my music to come enjoy a show, a live show, get an experience and stuff like that. So that's the whole point of me using the superphone, is to, to find that. I mean, I wish I would have been doing it a long time ago, because it would have helped. Like, I've been on 2 tours and stuff. And I think that if I would have been able to do that, I'd be able to connect with a lot more people aside from social media. Social media goes, like, people go blank on there. Sometimes it's good. Some people deactivate their pages. Once they disappear off social media, we lose contact.
Yeah, and having that, like, just straight up direct conversation with people definitely is I don't know, I feel like it's a better way, well, not necessarily a better way, but a different way to talk to your fans and really connect. And I feel like the people who would actually like sign up and like text you through that are the people who really are like those fans that are there for you. Like, they're going to be there supporting you no matter what.
So absolutely. And it's people on there. I mean, I got family that text me, my cousins and stuff, and they like, because they want to support. They want, like, man, what can I do? And me being me personally, I'm like, man, nah, cuz it's all good. Pull up on me. I got a shirt for you. And pull up on me. I got to, I just, and, but, one of my other cousins, she was like, nah, man, what do you want me to do? Like, you want me to text you? Okay, I'm going to text you. Okay, you want me to order something from the website? I'm going to order it from the website, because that's what's going to help your business. Not me pulling up on you and just giving you money. Like, that's not helping your business move forward. It is, but it's not. If you're trying to find something, if you're trying to like centralize it to here, let me be a part of that, and let me help move your business there. If you got inventory, let me add to your inventory. I don't want to take off of what you're doing business wise, because it's not going to help you be successful in the future. And I was like, okay, I understand that. Let's get it.
Yeah, that's dope. All right, well, we're about to get up out of here. Okay. So everyone, make sure to check out all the projects that you dropped this year. Well, last year now, I guess. Poster Boy, Troy 2, Muse Music, Till Death Do Us Part 2, Muse Music 2, and Free Play 4. Remember, you got to hit them up to listen to Free Play 4. You can't just find it on streaming. We're going direct to consumer with that one. But yeah, be sure to listen to all his music. Follow Troy on Instagram and Twitter for updates on that, I'm assuming.
Yeah, for updates on that, at TroyLLF, all one word. And like I said, we still got songs, and we still got music everywhere, on all the streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, whatever, SoundCloud, at TroyLLF. Look it up. If you're looking, if you want a reason to go buy the new one, go look back on something that I dropped already. If you like it, come holler at me about the new one.
Sure. Well, thank you so much, Troy, for hopping on and talking about your music last year and what you got planned on going on in 2021.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me, and I really appreciate it. My first interview of the year.
That's what's up.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, well, thank you everyone for listening and watching, and please stay safe out there. See you, Troy.
All right, man. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.